Welcome back, crew. We are up for another guide today for our Doffy deck, and what an amazing deck it is. Today we'll be focusing on Emu here, and this is a pretty good matchup for us. I'll pop on the screen right now. You can sort of see that we are winning in Emu's preferred curve. They want to go second to hit their 10 elders on curve, and we are winning that match. We are winning the other match as well, but even though we're winning, I thought I'd still do a guide just in case you're having any troubles with this matchup, and I just want to show that this matchup is indeed winning for us. Emu, being one of the top tier leaders in OP14, is being bumped back a little bit because there's so many things that work against it, but it is still one that you really need to consider. And I do feel like if you're thinking about this in competition, Emu will still be quite represented early on in the OP14 meta while people are still working out these new leaders which are taking the meta by storm. So let's jump into the guide now. Now, let's start. I'm going to keep this very brief. I don't want to talk about our deck as much as I did in Mihawk. I'm going to try and keep this strategy as concise as possible. So our general strategy in the E matchup, once again, it is get out our big guys, defend our board, and put a lot of pressure on the E. And eventually what you're going to do is get into a situation where you can rest their blockers down, or even better, using this 10 cost Doflamingo. Your ideal strategy is going to be using this 10 cost Doflamingo to rest down or stop three of their three of their board from resting, which means they can't block and they can't attack until the end of their next turn. This is particularly strong into the E matchup because you've got two blockers that they get out from the 10 elders, and that Nosturo as well, which is really causes havoc on your board. It prevents the -2k that it can do. So what you want to try and do is go back to back with the Doffy. To do that, you need to get Monets on the field before you play Doffy down. We'll go into that in a second. They play a lot of removal with Mars, so you want to have Virgos down as early as possible to protect your board. And then you're just going to go into defensive mode, defending while attacking in. And primarily what you're going to be trying to do is just upset their ability to gain value on their turn while taking away some of their hand, putting some of that pressure on. There are times where you just attack their board. We'll get into that. So here's the deck that we have. Now, I have taken Portia out of my current list, but I think she is a valuable card. I would not be upset if you were running her still. She does find Nora Beam Sword, which is really good. And she also is really good into aggro matchups. I think she's probably good into the mirror as well, but in this particular match, she is not the card that we need. So I'm going to quickly go through all of the categories in our deck once more. Ramp on play. These three all ramp active. These are our ramp cards. We also have ramp on opponent's turn. So we've got Monet ramps on opponent's turn. So if they neg one, if we neg one and send it into Monet, she will ramp 2 cards. So +1 when she's KO'd if we redirect. Dellinger, if we redirect, he gets that back. That's great. If we don't redirect, if we swing with him and they attack in, we ramp 1. Important for this matchup. Then we've got Treble and Doffy here. Now, they can both gain on the opponent's turn without needing this redirect. Well, Treble needs a redirect. Said this in the last video too. Treble does need the redirect. Once you redirect, he gets 1 back. So the thing about Treble though is you can redirect into Dellinger, get 1 back from Treble. Dellinger gets KO'd, get 1 back. Now you're +1 because Treble was on the field. Doffy needs an active in order to get 1. You need to rest 1 active in order to get 1 active. So you need an active in order to get his ramp. Sugar, I've placed Sugar on here even though she's got no ramp on KO associated with her. We do have ramp on play and she does play for free. So we can bring out, say, a Monet, we redirect into the sugar, send out Monet, then we ramp one active. She is the only card we have that can actively ramp one active. We do have trigger in Nora Nora Beam. Nora Nora Beam, if we trigger it, we can ramp one active from that as well. The reason why we might want one active is we might want two active, and I said this in the last one, in the Mihawk guide, so do check that out. Mihawk guide is a lot more extensive than this one. If we have the sugar, what we can do, we can play the sugar, leave one up from her ramp effect, and then send one into her, play out Monet. We've got two, and now all of a sudden we've got a Noro Beam sword out of nowhere that we can rest one down. Really strong play. Now I am rushing through this one because I don't want to spend as long on this Emu guide as I do on the Ace, which will be coming. I'm working on that currently. That is a much trickier one than this here. So we've got our on KOs. If you haven't seen this deck operate, we're running an on KO system, and we're using our leader to redirect into these ones where our opponent doesn't want to take them down. We force that on KO effect to happen. This is particularly good in a Emu matchup where they're using Marcus Mars a lot to KO things, and this now means they can't actually KO what they want to. If we put a sugar on the field, they have no benefit to using some Marcus Mars. In fact, in this matchup, you want to put sugar on the field to, once again, protect the characters that you want to save. For instance, you put a sugar down on your turn 2, they KO it on their turn 3. Sorry, you put it down on your turn 3, they KO it on their turn 3, and all of a sudden, this one brings out this, you've ramped one. You ramped it out of nowhere, you've ramped one from here and then one from here because they decide to KO this. Where if you had to just play the sugar on that turn 3, sorry, if you just played the Monet on the turn 3, you would have lost that to the effect. So these are our on KOs. I'm not going to talk too much about them. This one searches on KO. This one grabs an event on KO. This one gets life on KO. This one plays out a 5 cost or lower on KO. This one gets ramp and it gets card draw. Really good. And these are our -1 effects. Now, the reason why -1 is important, and it is important in this matchup, is you don't want to go too low on your negative Don in your turn. We can already neg on leader. If you're on 10 Don, you neg one here, you neg one there, you're already down 2. If then you use a baby 5 or something like that, now, or you use a Nora Beam Sword, which does neg as well, any of these neg, now you're going -3 in the turn, you're going backwards. So next turn, you have no chance of playing the 10 cost. And remember, 10 cost is our win condition. If you don't have those 10 ready to go, you are potentially going to lose. So important for the deck are the beaters. We have the 10 cost. This might come out early. No harm in it coming out early if you've got another one ready to go. This one is a very useful one because going wide with the big bodies just takes down their hand so much quicker. Pairing it with a Virgo, really, really strong. Pairing it with a Monet, really, really strong. Either of these is fine. Rosie is also good. We want to have as many of these bigger ones out as possible because we want to do as many hits into Emu as possible. They will have blockers up throughout the game, so having more on the board is better. But to get around their blockers, we have these ones here. Now we have the Uso Hachi, really strong card. We need 8 Don for this to activate. So this one here, we can rest down a 4 cost, which is like Valkyrie, really, really good. And we have Sanji here, which can rest down a 6 cost, which is their Marcus Mars, which is both a blocker and their KOer, but it is a blocker. So we have 2 ways to rest down blockers. And you know what? 7 + 3 is 10. If we're on 10 Don, we can rest both their blockers. And if we'd already established a strong field, well, you know what? We're getting through and we're taking the game. We also have Noronoro Beam Sword, really strong card. I'm going to say it now, not later. So if you made it to this video, this far through the video, thank you very much. And here's a little gem for you. First, hit that sub button because thank you. Second, what we want to do with this Noronoro Beam Sword is wait until after they play the 10 Elders. After they use the effect, they bring out Nosturo. Well, they bring out all the Elders, but they can attack with Nosturo, and usually they're attacking with Eam after they bring out the 5 Elders. When they do that attack, use Noronoro Beam Sword, rest their Walkyrie. Now they're not getting that draw on their turn. Really, really good, right? We've got one less defense and they've got one less card draw. You're taking away their value and you're deferring an attack. Really, really good. All right, so let's have a look now at the events. Noronoro Beam Sword talked about. Bullet String is okay, not clutch. Bullet String will get you +9 the battle you use it on, and +2 going forward. Their board at that 10 Don stage, and what we're really talking about is a 10 Don stage, is going to be, everything on their board is going to be hitting for 7 because of Jupiter, I think it is, Jupiter, pretty sure that's his name, adds 2,000 to all, or makes their base all 7,000. So you use this and you're just hitting their base, and you know what? They've got so much Don left over that it's not going to be that big of a deal, right? This isn't the card we really want to hold on to in this game. If you're playing out Rosinante and this is in hand, you're probably going to discard this to draw 2 cards. That's how I take it. This card can be quite useful because of the free 3,000. And, if they hit you for 7, this is +3. You're getting out of an attack just with this in hand. So really good card, but this is the most important event in this matchup. All right, so let's talk about the curve. Now, Emu wants to go second, which is going to put us at first. And you know what? This is a winning curve for us. I'm not even going to talk about what it looks like when we go turn 2 in this particular video, because I want to focus all my energy for the ace video, right? So let's just focus on this, because if they win the dice roll, they're choosing second. If you win the dice roll, you're choosing first. Let's go through it. 1 Don, you play Dellinger. You want to get the Dellinger out, most importantly. If you don't have the Dellinger, Sugar is the next best thing. You play it if it's there. Turn 2, this is sort of like the Mihawk, right? You're attaching 3 and swinging, and this is really effective in this match. You'll want to hit with the Doffy first and then swing with the Dellinger. Just get them by surprise. Sometimes they might take this hit, and then all of a sudden they need to defend the second hit, which they weren't expecting to do. Usually you can get a life and a card from hand using this, and that is great. The best thing is it opens them up. Do they attack into this? If they do, great, you've ramped up 1. And then you can hit this a lot sooner. If not the worst, you can redirect into this and find the missing pieces. Turn 3. In the Mihawk match, we wanted to do Monet first. In this particular match, we want to do Sugar first. And I'm going to jump now to Emu's curve so you can understand a little bit about what is going on here. We'll come back to ours in just a sec. With Emu, they're playing down whatever they can on their first turn. Usually it's a searcher, they're KOing stuff. They're doing all their stuff, just trying to optimize their trash, right? Turn 2, they're playing out Saturn. Saturn is a searcher, finding the missing pieces. Turn 3, this is usually their go-to because it's their only 6 cost. The only thing that they'd rather play than this is they might play down another Saturn because they're still searching, or they might play this one down because they want to be defensive and get the card draw for the search. this is their ideal turn 3, and this one here, it's a blocker, so they're pretty happy with that. That's very defensive, and they get to take out something on your field. So let's go back to our turn 3. We play our turn 3 first. If we get the sugar down, we've got the sugar, and we've probably got still the Dallinger at this stage. However, they may have got rid of the Dallinger, or you may have gotten rid of the Dallinger on turn 2. So at this stage, all you've got on the field is this. If they play out this one here and KO sugar, then you bring out a Monet or you bring out a Virgo. I'd probably go with the, it doesn't really matter which one you bring out either one. Really, really good play. And if you do bring out this one here, it means that you're losing this without using negative Don. If you get to bring out Monet here, let's step one step backwards. Turn 3, we have 5 Don. We play the sugar. We're now at 6 Don. On their turn 3, they KO the sugar. We didn't use effect. We bring out Monet. We're now on 7 Don. If we had have got the Dallinger effect as well, we're on 8 Don. And that means we go into our turn 4, we can get out a Doffy. And if we get out a Doffy, then we're going to have a very strong body on the board, which is going to beat into them. It doesn't really matter if you don't hit this Doffy on curve. It's not really important. We probably would rather get this out and just go wide on the board. The sooner you can get the Virgo out, the sooner you can go up against another Marcus Mars. So either of these is fine at this time. If you have either, you're progressing forward. What you want to do on your next curve is play out the Doffy and play out the other one anyway. So it doesn't really matter which you play out, but you do want to kind of get both of them out between the turn 3 and turn 4. If they don't KO this, no worries. You redirect into it and you bring one out. And, if you don't have one of these to bring out, you bring out another 5 cost, which is going to benefit you long term. So our turn 4 curve, we do want to get this out, and we get this out. We now will have 3 bodies on board plus the Doffy, and they will basically have this on board and this on board. And then they're coming into their next turn. Usually they want to get defensive while still setting up. Usually something like the Walkuri will come out, or you might see Nosturo come out, or just like some little blockers or something like that. They're sort of just setting up to make sure their next turn is the 5 Elders turn. This is where if you've gone wide on the board and you got one of these out the previous turn, you're then able to attack with this one here and this one while setting up 2 on the board, giving yourself a really strong turn. A Rosie off this is also another really strong play because it can set you up to be defensive with your events if you think that they're going in a different direction. It can help because the Rosie can use an event to protect. Say if you got the Virgo out and you will want to attack with Virgo, then getting a Rosie out of this isn't bad because then you're able to protect the Virgo after it's rested. But you want to make sure you're headed to that 8 Don level, because the next turn, when you get onto your turn 5, and as long as you get there on sort of your turn 5, you're probably not playing this out on your turn 5. You might be going for another one of these, or you might be going just for another setup of a second Virgo or a Monet, or you might be going now into some of your Baby 5 or, another sugar. Another sugar is great because you can always redirect and turn it into something valuable. And the thing I like most about sugar, I've digressed a little bit. The thing I like most about sugar is you can decide what you need on their turn after they've made their play. Do I need a second Virgo? Do I need some ramp? Do I need some card draw? Do I need to get a blocker out? Sugar can become any of those things. She's very, very strong. So if in doubt, play a sugar and work it out on their turn. I'm going to talk now about the 5 Elders and how this sort of all plays out. I'm sure you've seen the EAM deck by now and have a feel for what that is. On their turn, they play this out and they play out all of their 5 elders. At this point, usually the EAM starts to creep up and have advantage over you. You want the important part of the EAM matchup is this point now. You want to get here with having them down to, say, 2 life would be ideal. You want to get them down to that 2 life level. If you can get them down to the 1 life level, you can push for game very comfortably. Now, every Don that they have up is probably one of these. It's probably one of these cards. There's another card which is +3 for them. Ground Death is another one that we need to watch out for as counter. But I also want to talk about Ground Death here because Ground Death is a new card for EAM in OP14. And it is something that works very bad against our deck. Because what Ground Death does, it costs 1, so EAM can use it, but then you rest 2 Don. That's 3 Don. And what you can do is nullify the effects of a 5 cost or lower character. Now, our Virgo is a 5 cost or lower that protects our whole board. And if they nullify Virgo, then they can KO. They have Don left, then they can bring out St. Marcus Mars and just KO Virgo. So they can combo this off. They can go 3 here. They do their 4 Don effect or their 3 Don effect with the stage, bring out St. Marcus Mars, KO Virgo. They've used 6 Don. They still have 4 left. This can happen earlier because, as you can see, this could happen on turn 3 for them. They could bring out this and KO the Virgo. This is where turn 3, the sugar is very important to protect these things, right? So this gets me to my next point. Because this exists, having 2 Virgos can save you. If they are experienced into this match, they will be using Ground Death to target you and take out the things that they don't want around. They could do that on the sugar. So also be aware if they are pushing for game, they could hit something like the sugar. They could hit something like Viola. And all of a sudden, this trump card, which was going to bring out something else, now has no effect and you could be in a bit of trouble. So be aware, this will sort of take away 1 life more than you expected for the turn. Very dangerous card. They've got 1 up. It never existed. Nosturo is another one to be aware of because what they can do on their turn is they can still get out a 5 elders and they can get, so if they use, you think they're going to bring out a 5 elders, they do some attacks, they go to hit through with everything, they might bring out a Nosturo. Very, very dangerous card because it has that rush and all of a sudden now they're hitting extra into your Virgo, which you weren't expecting. Be particularly aware of this happening if they play the 5 elders and don't use the 5 elders effect. And that can happen into us because we might play out something big and, they respond with, oh, well, we've still got our board here. Well, I'm going to KO one of my things to draw and play this out and then just like attack into you and call that a day. So this can happen. When that does happen, expect this guy to bust out of nowhere and just apply an extra -2,000 probably to your Virgo. All right, this is all I really want to say about the curve. I'm going to show you some gameplay of this specifically so you can kind of get the gist of how we approach this matchup and how we think about the decisions. But the most important takeaway from this curve is get the Doffy out after they've played this and rest down their board, taking away all of the added benefit that this has provided on that turn. You outvalue them if you rest down their board while establishing the 10,000 power. You do that back to back, you are winning. Get this one out so you can do back-to-back Doffys. That's all I need to say. Let's check out a game, showing all of this together. I'm going to take first because I want to show you that we can win this even if they get their preferred lineup. And we're going to keep this. We have a Dellinger. We have another searcher potentially. We have a ramp. And this one isn't bad as well. So let's show you how this can be won. And the Dellinger attack on turn 2 is really good into this matchup as well. Okay. Man, 8 in trash. It's crazy turn 1. Crazy that it can do that, that is. Crazy that it can do that. So let's do 5. Interesting. I mean, that's lucky. And 1 there. And this is 2 cards each turn, so they want to deal with this. They don't want to keep this Dellinger around because that's potentially 2 6s next turn. I mean, that helps the situation. Their situation, not our situation. Okay. All right. Okay. We have a ramp. We have this ramp. We can hold off on this one. But let's just take. So this time we're going to do 5, play this out, and put this onto the field. Oh yes, yes, this is good. This is even better because they're on KO next turn, right? And because they're on KO, if they hit this, we just turn it into Monet. And we're still getting our ramp anyway. It costs 1 less, so then we'll have the ability to use this as well. Really strong. Really strong. So yeah, always there, turn 3, when they've got 6 on, that KO'er is coming out. And hiding things behind Sugar is perfect. So let's do that now. Game 1 active. Let's play this out. Use this effect. And what do we find that's good? I think we've got a lot of Monet. Let's grab a 2K. So we'll just wait to see what they do because they might want us to redirect and then KO after. So I'd imagine they're going to attack first. That's fine. And they should attack with this as well. And then we'll just redirect it into Dellinger. Ooh, okay, no, they're doing their effect first. It's exactly what we wanted. That was exactly what we wanted. And I mean, I could redirect into this. Be at my 10. It's just whether or not we find it, right? Is that worth the risk? I think we just redirect into here. Do this nice and safe. We find a 10. So we wouldn't have got... Oh no, we would have got the 10 if we hit it into Monet because this was in the top 2. We would have actually had the 10 cost next turn. That's crazy. And their board is so low. So low. We don't have the Virgo. Is a bit of a problem. I think we want to grab this out so we don't go too low with our Don. So we can bring these 2 out. I just almost feel like I want to take advantage of this this situation right here though. We just do 5. I mean, they've got a blocker up as well. And we still got another turn as well. So I think things are looking pretty good for us right now. We just re-established now. Okay, that's really good. Monet down or sugar down again. I think we sugar down again. Gain 1 and treble down as well. We don't have Virgo. So they drop a 6 and they'll KO this. Let's see what they're looking for. They find the 5 elders. So they're, oh no, this is just a searcher. Search again. Lose, it never existed. KO. This is the obvious target here. Yep. But that is a very fine line. They're going to have to KO one of their things, I think. I don't think they have already. If we redirect now into this, we can create another Monet. So let's do that. Resolve Monet. 1 active. Now we've got 2 active. We can, if they attack, rest one of their blockers. And they're smarter than that. They are smarter than that. However, they're not. They are not smarter than that, because this is what we're going to do. We're going to do back-to-back 10 costs now. So we can do 1, 2, 3. And because we can do back-to-back, we can shut down these. And shutting down those allows us to attack. If this is their big guy, they have to take this. And then they might be taking this. And if they're not, they're definitely taking the one after. There's a chance that this could hit as well, but most likely they can get out of this one. I mean, that is rough. That is rough. And as I said, we are going to do back-to-back here. So next turn, whenever they attack, we send 1 into Monet. We're then going to be at 10 Don next turn. We can use this effect again, and this Doffy just takes out the game. This is how you deal with Eam. This is Eam on their curve. I don't know if I need to show the other curve, because if you get this curve, you're going to do fine anyway. Okay, they're just dancing around here. This isn't going to do anything. Because at the end of the day, we're going to have this attack. They're going to need to use a It Never Existed and another It Never Existed, or another, like a bunch of cards, essentially. They found a 2K. Will they go for a KO here? Yes, they go for the KO. We get to trash a card. We're going to trash this Doffy here. And I mean, it's just ramped us. So now all we need to do is redirect, right? We redirect into ourselves because we already have enough Don. And now if they want to take this down, they can. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. All right, what do we trash? What do we trash? We'll get rid of a Rosie. All right, so we've only got 2 attacks. I only have 2 attacks here. But a 10 at face is going to be 4 is 9 and a 2K, which they do have the 2K. Then they need another 1K here. So let's see if they've got it. We stop this one, we stop this one, and we stop this one. We attack face. We see if this goes through. This would have to be a 1K, a 2K, and It Never Existed to get out of this. Is this a 1K? It is a 1K. All right, but that's not the worst, because look what we've just done to their board. Now they've got a big problem. They have a really big problem because they've only got 3 attackers. we just take this. We want to reserve, oh my goodness. We want to keep this. Okay, searching here. They find a 5 elders, so they could use the effect. They could attack in, use effect, or they could just hold it there. They've got two sort of options they can do here. I think we want to keep baiting them in. If we hit a Noro beam from the top of our life, then we are going to have this extra Doffy. They found it never existed. They found it never existed, but this is still okay. I actually don't see a, if we can protect this Doffy, I don't think they can get past us. Because 1, 2 blockers, this can't get past it never existed, unless they KO something. See what this is. No, no good. They need to KO something here. I'd rather have the extra Don to attack. So what do we got? We're not going to have a turn after this. So let's do 1, no blocker. Let's do 1, 2, and 3. All right, we don't have a rester. We have to start with our leader, because if they block with this, they draw a card. So we start here. 9. This is enough. Then, yep, they draw a card. They've got 9, possibly 10, 11. So now if this is 11 at face and 11 at face, we're fine. And 11 at face. Yep. That is Doffy into Eam. That is how you can take care of this match. You can see it's where, not sure if you've watched the Mihawk video. If you haven't watched the Mihawk video, watch the Mihawk video. I'll put the link up there. But where in that video, we're using the 10 cost on curve to really shut down their game. In the Eam match, you're not trying to get this down on curve. You're trying to use this one to basically win you the game. Use it after they've dropped the 10 cost so you can lock down their field and attack through. And yeah, back-to-back was great. Setting up the Monet to be able to do back-to-back is great. The other thing that could have helped us in this match is establishing this before we establish the 10 cost, because if we have more hitters on the field, it just hits into them a lot quicker and you can just get this down a lot faster. So if you don't find these back-to-back, at least you're hitting big with this and then you've got the extra attacker when this comes down. If that makes sense. Hope that made sense. We could have played that a little bit differently that turn. We could have extended this another turn if we really wanted. That turn there, I mean, the turn before, we could have just attacked in at board, established. We didn't need to take all that life that we did. We could have gone defensively here, put up a life, put up a blocker, and put up a Virgo. So like we could have done things like that to prolong the game. And yeah, no, the math doesn't work to put all of these down, but you might just put one of these down, saving Don for this, bringing it back, using it. You've got lots of things that you can do there. So we weren't under any pressure in the end game there. As long as we ramp up, we can get to this soon enough and we're finding the Monets. Ideally, we would have had a Virgo to beat into them and protect our board from the KOs, but it's okay. Even if that doesn't happen, we can still win. That is Doffy into Eam when we are going first and they get their preference of going second. All right, hope you enjoyed that game. Didn't do a going second curve on this particular matchup. Let me know if you think I should have done that. If you are interested in that, do try this out before requesting that, because I do think this will be enough to get you through. If you have any questions about it, please drop a comment, because I'm more than happy to go through any questions that you have about this deck, about this matchup. And I do really plan on getting out an ace guide very soon. It's going to take a little bit more work, but we are on approach. This is almost done. He is a lot more nuanced on how you will take that matchup, so it's taking a little bit longer. Want to do one for Bowler as well, because I think she's a key player. But most importantly, I think we need to do a mirror matchup guide, because that is going to be something which, you know, you don't want to put all this effort into Doffy and then lose to another Doffy, right? Got to take that win on the Doffy. That's the most important one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know that you did enjoy it by dropping a like and a sub, and I will see you on the next one. Till then, look after yourselves and look after your decks.